So, good morning everyone. My name is Mohita, for those of you that don't know me. I'm from India, and I'm a senior at Soka University of America. I'm here today to share with you a little bit about the time that I spent studying abroad in Quito, Ecuador, the last year. So, yeah. May 2006 began with my life bursting with energy and ideas for an exciting, productive summer I'd envisioned for myself in New York, before having to leave for Ecuador on my semester abroad in July. My agenda for the 2 months included an internship, working on my demo CD, chanting every day, and of course studying lots of Spanish. I was super excited. However, things turned out quite differently. An escalating number of serious obstacles my family in India was facing gave rise to an atmosphere of deep worry and gloom that enveloped everyone. Even sitting all the way in New York, it was impossible to remain detached from the problems, the stress, and the strain that was erupting in our faces. I found myself sleeping a lot, possibly as an escape from the chaos, and each day I sank deeper into increasingly abysmal wells of depression, doing positively nothing with my time. There was no internship, no demo, no Spanish, no dainoku. Only a complete and utter sense of confusion, lethargy, apathy, and sadness due to the circumstances, and of course a biting sense of self-loathing due to my own inability to galvanize my inner strength and resources. Almost a month later, however, I had the fortune of attending a talk by Lynd Johnson. What she said hit home with me like never before, and I knew that despite having shut down so much, there was a little but significant part of me that hadn't given up and sincerely wanted out of this help. I had lived like this for a month, and it really sucked, and I was sick of it. Among the many amazing things Linda said, one simple thing that flashed in big lights in front of me was, "You have the right to be happy. There's no reason for you to be unhappy." That really impacted me. She also said, "We are never given more than we can handle. So when you chant, summon up deep faith that your life is the mystic law. This way you will forge an indomitable life force and never have to cower to anything in the future. Fight each day to be victorious." Walking out of that talk, I vowed firmly to myself that I would be happy. It was time to stop living this hell. Our lives are a visible manifestation of what we believe, and I was ready to believe only in the positive, only in the uplifting. I began to chant each day with a renewed resolve to have the best time of my life in Ecuador, to really learn Spanish, to build real, authentic, profound relationships with the people in Quito, and to gain a deep understanding of the country and all of its colors. With that determination, I landed in Quito, ready to be kind with myself and ease into my new life. However, easing into was the complete opposite of what I found myself doing. 3 weeks into my stay, under very odd circumstances, my camera and all my passport pictures were stolen from my bag, and my email account was hacked into. My friends and family were being sent threatening emails from this hacker, who would also chat with them online pretending it was me, and was able to obtain information about my passport, flight details, and bank account. In an email also, I was warned that if I didn't cooperate with this person, I'd better hope to change even my house. All of a sudden, I found myself in a daily whirlwind of going to the police, filing police reports, speaking with university officials, and surrounded by security guards. It was complete madness, and not surprisingly, everyone around me was worried and distraught. But I stayed calm, didn't complain, and kept chanting. In such a short time, there was already so much drama. But I consciously decided not to begrudge my circumstances. Instead, I thought, wow, how fortunate I am. Everyone else is, relaxing, settling in, taking their time. And here I am, only 3 weeks, and I'm already running around to the police station, talking to investigators and bodyguards. What an interesting way to be pushed right into the thick of things and learn how to navigate the culture and speak Spanish. I kept up my daimoku, and fortunately, a few weeks later, everything settled itself and no harm was caused. My friends would ask me every day, "How are you staying so positive? If I were you, I'd be a rep by now." And I told them simply, I promised myself I would be happy no matter what, and I am. I wondered if the next few weeks would be a little calmer, but it only seemed like the universe had decided to challenge me, testing the strength of my resolve. I was living with a host family, a mother and a father in their 30s, a 15-year-old brother, and an 11-year-old sister. We all lived together in a minuscule little apartment with one bathroom and not much of anything. Being an only child, used to living in a large house, this setup was entirely new to me, and my family in India was concerned about whether I'd be comfortable enough with them. But forget comfort, I'd never been happier in my life. My host family was the most loving, generous, open, united group of individuals I have ever encountered. And over the following weeks, we cultivated a relationship that surpassed any and all language barriers. A real relationship of mutual trust, respect, and affection. We all became indescribably close. I'd been chanting consistently to create the greatest value possible while living with them. And that's when I found out that my host mother's cancer had returned in full form. My 34-year-old host mother is one of the most spirited, upbeat, loving people I know. A few years ago, she'd been diagnosed with terminal cancer, but until recently it had been in remission. Strangely, it returned right when I arrived. There were days I would see her passed out in the bathroom, or would pick up clumps of her hair in the bathtub that had fallen out from the chemo. I'll never forget the day my family had to sell their car just so they could afford the next month's chemotherapy. That was the one day I saw my mother cry and nobody said a single word all day. I knew it was no coincidence that I was placed to live with this family. It was not without reason why we had become as close as we had. Every day I chanted to understand my mission behind living in that house. I chanted even harder to make my life a glowing example of positivity for my family, and I also remembered Sensei's words. When you chant Daimoku, the cause for you becoming ill becomes the cause for you becoming healthy. I began encouraging my host mother to read The Winning Life, or the La Vida Victoriosa in Spanish, and every day I'd come home from class and talk to her about Buddhism. I cannot explain how hard it was to communicate this practice in a language I barely spoke the half of. But I stuttered and slurred out sentences and chanted to deepen my own understanding of this faith and to communicate to my host mother with my heart, irrespective of grammar, irrespective of vocabulary. I also invited members from the SGI-USA to come over and speak with my host mother, and slowly but surely, she started chanting with us. While I was in Ecuador, my host mom would go for chemotherapy once a month for a week at a time, and her test results were not promising. By the time I left Ecuador, although still ill, her test results were better by leaps and bounds, and week-long sessions of chemo had been reduced to overnight sessions. She was chanting Daimoku every single day, and had begun to learn Gongyo. Today, my little host sister, who is 11, is also learning Gongyo and walks around the house singing Nibi Seson Tusak. One day, my 15-year-old host brother, Brian, said to me, "You are the best thing that has happened to me and my family."